You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Power to kid sisters. I'm one, and so is my special guest today. When she isn't filling you with bliss with her songs, she's winning your heart with everything she does for various people and pet charities. I am honored to welcome singer, songwriter, actress, a multi-talented entertainer who puts a capital E in entertaining, the one and only Roslyn Kind. Hey, welcome to the show, Roslyn.
Thank you, Arden, but I have to make one correction. I've only written lyrics to one song.
That makes you a songwriter. You did
it. Okay. I don't think of myself that way. Okay.
All right, well, now you've added that. You've got it. And, you know, listeners, as you can already imagine, get ready to be delighted. Rozzie is here to share her life, her work, talk about a very special dog named Josh, and, oh yeah, maybe a little bit about an older sister named, Barbra Streisand, and much more. I want everyone to sit and stay because we're going to be right back after this commercial break.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right, but that's not all. Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off, and free shipping from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I don't make any decisions about who to hire without going to Angie's List first.
You'll find reviews on home repair to healthcare, written by people just like you.
With Angie's List, I know who to call, and I know the results will be fantastic.
Angie's List, who you can trust.
Go to angieslist.com/best and get 25% off any subscription. That's angieslist.com/best. BEST.
New York, the glitz, the glamour, the exciting Mutt-tropolis, the sparkling kitty city that never sleeps. Join us each week for Pets in the City with your host, Diane West. Celebrity pet sightings, hot events, and news and reviews with the hottest movers, shakers, and tail waggers in New York. So take a bite out of the Big Apple with Pets in the City every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We have a mega talent in the house. I am, of course, speaking of Roslyn Kind. She's an amazing singer. She's a gal who grew up in Brooklyn, and she now can call the world her home. That's because this gal's performed at the Carnegie Center, the Greek Theater, Lincoln Center, London's Royal Cafe, and I've got 2 quotes, Roslyn, that I love that describe you. The New York Post calls you, she's so good on so many levels, it's difficult to categorize her. That's a good one. And my second favorite quote comes from the Los Angeles Times. Forget that Roslyn Kind is Barbra Streisand's kid sister. She's too good and too special to have to worry about comparison. Amen. Power to the kid sisters. What do you think, Rozzie?
Sounds good. Sounds
All
good.
right. I have two older
you must
sisters.
know, Arden, who is your older sister?
My older sisters are Deb and Karen. Thank you very much. I got
Are
all
you
the
the baby?
hand-me-downs. I have a little brother, a kid brother named Kevin. And so I was always getting the hand-me-downs, you know. The one time I got my own sweater vest, I was so excited. It wasn't from Deb or Karen. My Siamese cat, and cats like to sometimes chew wool, chewed a cannonball-sized hole in my favorite one and only non-hand-me-down wool sweater.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't throw it away. I'm like, I can't wear it, but I couldn't throw it away.
I used to love it. My little guy, I called him my son, my four-legged son, Josh Kind. He used to, tear the insides out of shoes, or when I wasn't around, he would take people's brushes out of their handbags, go into their luggage, take out socks. He never really did great damage, but I have pictures of him carrying a fly swatter in his mouth when he was still
really
big. He was smaller than the swatter. I mean, plastic containers of salsa that were empty. I have the cutest pictures, when they go through the teething period.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I call the first year in a dog's life the wonder year, because you're like, I wonder what I'm doing. I mean, it's like, he's driving me crazy. And he's chewing this. He's becoming an interior decorator. He's like done my carpet, done my sofa.
And then when they look at you when you're eating, it's like, please, sir, can I have some more?
I think there's something going on in the dog kingdom, that they share this little tips on how to make us foils, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, he had me around his little paw. But I didn't take Josh for walks. Well, in the beginning I did, but in the end he took me.
Really?
He knew exactly which direction he wanted to go in and why.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Josh. I mean, he was a Yorkie. And how in the heck did you come to get a dog in your life? You travel all over the place. Something happened. How did you get Josh?
I love puppies. I had a couple of puppies when I was little in Brooklyn, but my first one had got distemper. I got him I got her at the Bidewee home.
Okay.
Then I had another one, Rusty, who I was just, we couldn't handle, so my mother made me give him away, which I was very sad. I was very sad because at the time my mother was taking in a boarder to get extra money, and then this woman didn't like my puppy. So I was like, I had to give him up.
Yeah.
And I was so upset about it, so upset. And then I got my little Ricky, who was a terrier, a mix, and she got distemper. So I didn't have much luck. So I used to take care of even my sister's pups. Sometimes when my sister was in London, I would babysit Sadie, and I just loved animals. I talk to birds when I'm on the road. When I find those great cockatoos that are in cages that talk to you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Buy her CD. That's what you got. Right?
But my Joshie, I was actually in Malibu, and I was working on a new show, and we went to the Malibu Country Mart, and there was a Dr. Rowe's pet headquarters, and Dr. Rowe was one of the pet stores that didn't believe in puppy mills or anything.
Yeah.
So I used to go there all the time on my breaks, and I would walk through, and I always have to go through the pet shop. I always have to, and look at the puppies. And this particular day, I saw two little Yorkies. Mm-hmm. And one of them, they were brothers, they told me, but one of them was just too cute to pass up. He didn't look like a Yorkie. He looked like a kind of not like a porcupine, but he was so full of hair, and his ears didn't stand up. They hung down, but it was thick black hair, thick. And I, asked him if I could see him, and he came out and he went running around. And this little boy caught him, and he's holding him under the armpits, swinging him. And he's just kissing the little boy. The tongue is coming out to kiss him. He fit in the palm of my hand. He was killer. The face that would stop traffic. And that was it. I kept going back to see him. I'm saying, oh, my mother would kill me if I got this.
Right.
I kept thinking, I said, what am I going to do? But I put a hold on him because I was out there working and I wasn't home, and would go to see him every day. And then I said, well, I'll have to go back to town, but I'll be back for him. And it was a July 4th weekend. And I said, what am I doing? Am I crazy? I said, I have to travel. I have to this. How can I handle this? And then my mom came down with heart problems and had to be in the hospital, and had to go through surgery. And while I was waiting in the hospital while she was going through surgery, a friend of mine who also loves animals, definite animal activist, walks out on movies where he sees anything harming an animal, raises birds and sells them, and he's sitting there talking to me, Rozzie, it'd be the best thing to get this puppy when your mom comes home. It was so great. And so I said, but Barry, you have to understand, you had to see this puppy's face. There's no way in the world he's still there. And I remember I even went to Disneyland with my friend and their son, and I said, "Oh, look, they have a place here. I could have brought Josh." Well, I didn't have a name for him yet. I said, because I couldn't get his face out of my mind.
Isn't that amazing?
I couldn't get this puppy out of my mind. And so when this happened to my mom, he brought me to the phone. He said, "Call them and see. Call them and see." I said, "There's no way in the world. He was too cute. He can't possibly still be there." And so I called, and unbelievable. This is when you say in Jewish something is beshert. It's meant.
Okay.
They said he was still there. Why was he still there? Because 2 Dalmatian puppies were brought in by the breeder to get a bath, and they had kennel cough.
Oh.
And Joshie caught the kennel cough, and so they kept him in the back.
Oh, my gosh. There's a movie here. Move over, Marley and me. We got Rozzie and Josh. I think there's
It was just meant to be. And I brought that little guy home with kennel cough. I had my mom getting over her heart surgeries in one room with a nurse, learning how to blow air again and breathe. And I had this little thing going, but it sounded like he was dying.
Oh, my gosh.
And I nursed him all through the kennel cough. And he just changed our lives. I mean, he just was such happiness. I brought him everywhere until some of the restaurants around here stopped letting you come in with your puppies because other people were complaining or whatever. I said, "This dog is cleaner than some of the people that you see and deserve."
How did you come up with the name Josh?
Well, that's a good question because while my mom was in the hospital and my brother had come out, my sister-in-law, and I brought them out there to see him. And I went through things like the name of Zeus because he was so tiny. I thought Zeus would be cute, one of the gods.
Right.
And then that fell flat. And I just thought, watching him run around, I said, he's all boy. As tiny as he is a boy. And I just said, I went through a whole bunch of names. I said, and all of a sudden, just the name Josh came out. Josh Kind. Joshie, my Joshie.
Yeah.
And so some of the people said, "Oh, but that's such a human name." I said, "He is human. Look at his eyes."
Absolutely.
This is such an understanding being with such knowledge and feeling and heart. And I always felt he was from the Pleiades. I just did. He always knew when I was coming home. When you looked in his eyes, it wasn't like he would look deep into my soul. I mean, he was hypnotic.
The Weimaraner dogs are the ones that have those eyes that just bore right through your heart. I think he might have been part Weimaraner. He might have had just the eyes of the Weimaraner. What do you think?
But I tell you, he just read my soul, and
wow,
and that was it. That was it. And he was Josh, and we went through all the terrible twos.
Yep.
But it was so funny, and it's like there were times where he always traveled with me. He always went with me, and he came and took bows with me on stage. If I was in a club or in a place I was performing and they heard a bark, I said, "Not to worry, that's my son." And he got famous. It was like he was in some of the press shots from when I did 3 from Brooklyn. As a matter of fact, the press wanted more shots of him than they wanted of the star.
Yeah, well,
hey, what can I say? And he actually made his Broadway debut with me at the Helen Hayes Theater on Christmas Eve when my assistant put antlers on his head on one side of the stage.
Okay.
And the star of the show did this whole thing about, animals with hangers on their heads for Christmas, the reindeer.
Right.
And at that point, we sent Josh out so that he could be on the other side of the stage.
Did he make his mark? No,
actually, he got about a third of the way in front of the baby grand piano, took a look at the audience, dumped the antlers, and was ready to head out to the audience.
But that's
and the guy on stage had to send him back to me, but it was so cute. And everybody got to know him. I had him on the Vicky show with me years ago. He was just the best and garnered so much attention. Like I said, a face, maybe it was the Pleiadian look in the eyes that just garnered everything, I think he was very spiritual, a little spiritual guy. There was one time when I was working in Provincetown, and the guys who did the woman show, where they transgender shows,
right?
They took him and put his hair in curlers and brought him to me at the end.
That's one cool dog.
Oh, I tell you! But everybody knew if he was there, I wasn't far behind. They always, there's that Josh, is that Josh?
Oh,
and then there came the time when I brought him in for his annual physical when he was 7. And they heard his vet heard a heart murmur for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And she immediately sent me to the heart specialist, and his heart was already 10% larger than it should have been. And, of course, it destroyed me because they're giving me a time limit on his life, and I couldn't deal with it. I found it really, really hard. And I was supposed to go on vacation, and I canceled my vacation. I would sit up and watch him breathe.
Oh, my gosh.
And they said to me anywhere from 9 months to 5 years, and he wasn't able to travel with me anymore. But I would get upset because I would see him getting so, upset when I would leave, and then that nobody would tell me that he was kind of down when I was away. But when I came home, he would be so excited. I'm like, oh my God, this stuff with the heart going up and down is not good. But he would run around like Roadrunner around the table when I came home, like, going from the dining room into the coffee table in the living room, and it's like, and little by little he got slower and slower, and I kept saying, no, we're going to change it, we're going to turn this around, we're going to turn his heart around, it's going to get smaller again, it's going to get smaller. And there was a time when his medication was more than my mom's, and
wow,
I was sinking, but every single time they said, there'll be times when you'll bring him in and we'll be able to turn him around, but there'll be that one time where we won't be able to. And I wasn't buying it. I couldn't believe it. Not my Joshie. Not my Joshie. And then came the one day in 2000, June 14th, that was the day they couldn't turn him around. His lungs were full of fluid, and they would say to me, it's the best gift I could give him. And he passed in my arms. It was killing me. I couldn't even leave. I couldn't, I stayed there forever with him in my arms.
My gosh.
And I do this song in my show for him, and I still do it. And I remember the summer after I lost him, when I went back to work that September, on tour, I did the song. My eyes, I just couldn't stop crying when I would do it. And this little girl in the front row stood up and started dancing.
Really?
While I was singing the song, and I just looked at her, and I looked up to the heavens, and I said, "Okay, Joshie, I get the message. He's telling me he's okay."
That's right. Wow.
And but I miss his little face, and I still have his pictures up. I have a little piece of his tail, and I have crystals around him, and I was copying all the poems about, dealing with losing your pet, and the beautiful words of the Rainbow Bridge.
Right.
And I have friends who lose their loved little animals today, and I will tell them about the Rainbow Bridge.
Your song you dedicated it's called At Times Like This, correct?
Correct.
All right, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but tell us the writers, but can you just do a little bit of it?
Well, let me see now. It's early in the morning.
I know. Come on.
A friendly face, the kind of face that melts you with a grin. The kind of eyes that welcome you the minute you walk in. The tender glance you simply can't refuse. At times like this, a girl could use a dog.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I kept playing it back and forth. Oh, I was getting ready for this show, and I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, Chipper, Cleo, Murphy, and Ziki.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the Furry Fab 4, and they could hear the song, and they came up to the speakers. I'm not kidding you.
Oh my goodness!
So do your
puppies and your cats, when the dog shows are on, do they go up to the television? Because Joshie used to go right up to the television.
My little one, Cleo, does. My big girl, Chipper, a husky golden retriever, is like, I know it's fake. But Cleo and Chipper, they have a talent. They actually share the same surfboard, and we raise money for shelters as members of the SoCal Surf Dog team.
Oh, do they actually surf on the water? Does somebody take them in? You're kidding me. I have to see this.
You got to see this. I'll have to send you. I'll send you a little short clip. But we raise money for shelters. They use foam surfboards. They have their own life jackets with little handles.
Aww.
And we wear our little wetsuits, and we get them out there. We time the waves, and they head out. And some of these dogs are so good that they can turn around. They can jump to another surfboard that's riding by. Mine aren't that talented, but they're great. But to have little Mutt and Jeff, big and little, 60-pound and 12-pound, share a same board, and they're 9 years old. But but they love your singing. I got to tell you.
I used to take Josh. I don't know if people do this anymore, but we used to have birthday parties for our pets. So Joshie had a girlfriend who was a Wheaton Terrier named Rachel.
Cool.
And Rachel's mommy was a party planner, and she every year gave Rachel what we called a bark day. And it was always like a different theme. The first year it was just like gentlemen and ladies, so Joshie had a posh bow tie. And one year it was a Hawaiian luau, so I had a straw hat on him and a Hawaiian, flower jacket. One year it was a rodeo.
Oh, my gosh.
One year it was a circus, so he was a clown. It was amazing, and some of these dogs performed, but he always won the most popular.
Really?
He always won most popular, and he always won his race in his section of dogs.
Oh, that's great.
It's just the best.
We're speaking with Roslyn Kind. She is going to be in concert. I want you guys to mark this down because this show goes everywhere, Rozzie. So April 28th, she's going to be performing at the Brooklyn Center for the Performing Arts. It's at the Brooklyn College. Yes, at Brooklyn College. So that's
my return to my roots.
That's right.
That's back to Brooklyn, and I don't know how long. So I'm hoping everybody will come out wherever you are.
You guys got to come on.
Please come on down and have some fun. I always like to have fun, and my aim is to hopefully make people feel good when they leave.
I think you do that well. We're talking to Roslyn Kind. We're going to have to pay for this show by taking a quick commercial break, so I want everybody to sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Every pet is unique. Maybe they're gray in the muzzle, yet young at heart. Maybe they're growing out of the puppy stage and into their paws and ears. Or maybe they're just trying to maintain a more girlish figure. At PetSmart, we have the right food for your pet at a great value for you. PetSmart. Be better together.
Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart and save up to 30% on toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart today. If you ask the question, what do I want? What do I need? I'll take affection. I really should mention I need time. I need love. I crave attention. This is the waiting by the door. With shaking tails and happy hearts. And running circles round the floor. That's always when the party starts. They are my friends. They are my children. They are the furry scooters and drinks. They are my family. They understand me. That's how I love my pets.
I Love My Pets, the new single by Mark Winter, available in iTunes.
Hi everybody, I'm Megan Blake here with my sidekick Super Smiley, the giant mutt and spokes dog for throwaways. You're listening to Pet Life Radio, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new show, A Super Smiley Adventure. Our show explores adventures with animals. They can be traveling, out in the world trips, or inner journeys where our animals lead us to inspiration and self-discovery, or just plain fun adventures. Join us here on Pet Life Radio on A Super Smiley Adventure. Good boy.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is Tim Conway, and this is my favorite program that you're listening to and I'm listening to right now. Arden is one of my favorites, and I never miss the show. I haven't seen it yet, but I never miss it.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
A friendly face, the kind of face that melts you with a grin. The kind of eyes that welcome you the minute you walk in. The tender glance you simply can't refuse. At times like this, a girl could use a dog.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I'm just having a great time. I have Roslyn Kind in the house. She does it all. She sings. She's on stage. She's been in movies. She's been on television. And
theater, she dances. She moves. She wriggles.
That's right. And she is a dog's best friend. I'm telling you. And I know that Josh has been very special to you for very, very many years. But I want to do the little... We're going back to 1969. I want you to tell people, when you got your high school diploma, you just literally grabbed your diploma and dashed right into the footlights of fame.
That was actually 1968.
Oh, 1968. Okay, sorry, 1968. So tell us what happened on graduation day. That blows my mind.
Well, I had signed my RCA contract several months before I graduated. And my first day of going in the studio turned out to be my day of graduation. So at 9 a.m., I marched down to Pomp and Circumstance. I picked up a diploma, and by 12 noon, I was at Studio B at RCA.
That is amazing. And then how soon later were you on the Ed Sullivan Show?
That was, I'll tell you the date, it was February 9th, 1969. Storm of the year, and I had to walk, thank God we lived in Manhattan, I walked from 57th Street to 52nd and Broadway in the blizzard.
Oh, my gosh.
Because people were stuck at home. Thank God I had a captive audience, but then I lost those that were stuck in the subway.
You're better than a postal carrier. Neither sleep nor snow will get you from not being on that Ed Sullivan Show, right?
I know, and it was so funny because when I got to San Francisco after doing the show, we were sitting in a diner because I was going there to play The Hungry Eye. And the waitress came over and said, "Oh, aren't you that Roslyn Kind, that Barbra Streisand sister that we just saw on the Ed Sullivan Show?"
Nice.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And she was living in California, so he had such a great viewership.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to get on the Ed Sullivan Show, you were, 19 years old? That's pretty...
I was 18.
18. There's people that never have gotten on it. So
it was
growing
just
up...
after I had turned 18, yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in Brooklyn. Your mom's name was Diana, correct?
Correct.
And I guess the deal is Barbara is your older half sister.
Well, we don't use the word half, and I like. I
hate the word half.
I don't like when people do that. Just because we have the same mother. We had different fathers because my sister and my brother's father passed when my sister was 15 months old. Okay. And when I came onto the scene, it was 7 or so years later. No, 8 years later, because she was probably about just before her 9th birthday. Anyway, in the Jewish religion, when you come from the same womb, it's not half. Because the closest thing to the relationship is the mother.
Yep.
Because of the womb. Just like if you're a child of an intermarried couple, if the mother is Jewish, the child is automatically Jewish.
Okay.
But if it's the same father, no, the child has to convert if they want to be Jewish.
I gotcha.
See, so the whole premise is that the mother's womb is where it takes place, honey.
All right.
That's the common ground. And and I just hate that term. I kind of resent when people use it.
I agree. I applaud you for that, too. So now you also have a brother, Sheldon, right?
Right. He's the oldest. I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Awesome.
I'm the baby.
You're the best baby on the planet. I'm like you. I'm the youngest of the girls, and then my brother popped in afterwards. But, I like being the kid sister, didn't you?
There was so many years between us, but I had some wonderful times with my sister because she used to take care of me as a kid. She used to comb my hair in the morning, sit me on the toilet, and take care of me. She used to love my nose. She would take pictures of my nose, my profile.
Really?
Growing up, she loved my profile. So I have pictures in front of a tree in Brooklyn, in front of our building, where I'm posing with my head up.
What's up with that? Why did you think she was so fascinated by your nose?
Well, I just think she was fascinated with maybe, I don't know. I don't think I have a perfect nose, but I still see a little bump on my nose, kind of like a little like she has. Mm-hmm. But she was just taken away with it. So as a little girl, she used to take a lot of pictures of my nose. Well, not just my nose, my face.
Glad to know that. Well, you have very beautiful eyes. You have very beautiful eyes. I know you were talking about Josh's eyes, but you have very captivating eyes.
Oh, thank you. You know what it is? It's like everybody tells me it's the color.
Yeah, could be.
I guess it's the shape. My sister and I both have the same shaped eyes.
Right.
But I have, mine are like a yellow hazel. Almost like a cat's eye.
Did you get that from your mom?
No, my mom is blue like my sister, and my brother is blue.
Really? Huh.
They're all three blue. My father was more hazel.
Okay.
But mine are a pale. They're so pale. As a matter of fact, the eye doctor said my retinas are even pale.
That's incredible. I mean, you do have some captivating eyes, but you also have a pretty captivating voice too. And I had a dog named Jazz, so I'm a big fan of jazz. And some of the music you do is just it melts when you hear it.
Thank you so much. I can only thank God for that, because through my mom, who was the voice, kind of from her father, my maternal grandfather, who was a cantor. That voice was passed down through our genes, and very much a God-given gift that obviously, when I've gone through periods of my life where I said, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here? And I did searching for that when I was in the 80s, big questions in my life. And basically, I'm supposed to, use my gift. It was God-given for a reason. And so I figured I better stay out there and do what I am supposed to do to help heal with my voice and heal with my being, because the world needs so much positive energy, especially in these days. We're going through so much, and people have lost sight of what really matters, the unconditional love that we get from our animals, and we need to learn so much of. We have to take that from them and see they are our greatest example.
Well, there's a reason Josh came in your life, and now I know with your mom's heart condition and other conditions, you've played a pretty big part in AIDS, in Alzheimer, and disease to be able to rally some good things that way, and especially for pets. I mean, Humane Society, I guess, in the United States. So let's talk a little bit about the philanthropic Rozzie.
Well, Joshie is what brought all of that into my life, because when I lost Joshie and I didn't have anybody to shower myself on, I started making donations to many shelters in his memory. And I got lovely notes back, thanking me that, Joshie would be so happy, and it was very lovely. And I stayed in contact with one of the gentlemen at the Humane Society for a while until he left. I always say for the charities I believe in, which are animal, because they can't speak for themselves, and there is so much abuse, for children who are our future, for the elderly who so need to be touched. My mom had Alzheimer's, and so that opened my eyes to Alzheimer's. And just last year I went to sing at a facility in Columbus, Ohio, the Wexler Village, where I sang with the Alzheimer's patients, with the rabbi on his guitar. And
oh my gosh,
music is such a necessary communication tool with Alzheimer's patients. It brings back their memories. You see the smiles on their faces. And so much so in the beginning when my mother was first coming down with it, I visited certain places and I didn't see really great treatment for these people. I didn't see, it was like kind of cold. They were, shoved off to the side as far as like locked up in an area because, they are known to wander and all these things. But I just thought that was so cruel. And I saw so much love at this facility. And I myself kept my mom home. My mom had 24-hour care. Thank God we could do that for her. And I was the one overseeing all her care. As a matter of fact, I took time off from my work to be with my mom and watch over her and oversee all her care. So, it was so hard to, so I know what, a friend of mine who had, her mother came down with it and she gave me the book, The 36-Hour Day, and you really get to learn, like I would have people, why can't she pick up the phone and call me? I said, you don't understand. She doesn't know what a phone is anymore.
Right. That's a very good book, and I'm glad you mentioned it. That's a powerful book.
Yeah, because if you don't understand, then you don't have patience, which is everything that they need. They need love and patience. And there was a time my mother would come into God bless her, God rest her soul, come into the living room, and she would say, try to talk to me, when she totally couldn't carry on a conversation. And she would just words here and there, but basically I knew she wanted to know I'm okay. And the time that she spent in the hospital in her last months, I was there every day, singing to her, playing music, dancing, rubbing her feet. And, I just see the difference. Music is such a great tool.
It is.
I want to encourage people not to be afraid of people with Alzheimer's. Show them your love. Touch them. They feel so isolated. And yes, sometimes they don't know who you are, and yes, they may strike at you, but that's what these books are about, to teach you how to handle that and to deal with it, and then to also make sure you take care of yourself and take breaks and get out and calm yourself and get your rest as well, because it is a hard undertaking.
No, I bless you for that, and I think you have two powerful talents, your song, your music, and paying attention to Josh and learning what lessons our pets give us. And, that's a pretty nice gift you've received.
Oh, yes. yes. To say to this day, I play with everybody else's puppies, my sister's puppies, my friend's puppies, my friend's cats. You know, I used to have a girl who did my nails who had a Scottish foal, and the Scottish foal was just like a dog.
Right.
It was so much like a puppy. I mean, they're great, you know, and they know when you love them. They know when you, and I would, you know, I'm so sorry what happened in Las Vegas with the white tigers, but I think they're the most gorgeous creatures.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With the green and the blue eyes. Oh, my God. I would love, you know, like those days where maybe they could be hypnotized and you could play with them and you know you're not going to get hurt. But they're just beautiful to watch them move.
Well, if you're ever in Oceanside, California, you can come meet my furry Fab Four, Chipper, Cleo, Murphy, and Zeke, and they will charm you, amuse you, delight you, and have you come watch them surf. So I want you to know that.
I'd love to
There's always an open. It's pretty hilarious.
I can't even do that.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm like, what? I got 2 rescue dogs that surf, so that's kind of bananas. But you know what?
So great.
They love it. I wouldn't do it if they didn't love it. Now, if I can get my cat Zeke, who likes to water, to surf, I think we'd hit it big. But you know, she does her own goodness. So I think it's very important that you have had Josh in your life. But I wanted to ask you, you know, looking back when you were growing up and a lot of things were happening, could you put your finger on something that maybe your mom was just really proud of you that you did?
I have to tell you, my mother was never a bragging mother. She came from a lot of superstition where you don't look for compliments because people could give you an evil eye.
Okay.
She never would do things that would draw attention. She would never brag about her children. She said, let them come to me and tell me. You know, and she always believed, and sometimes it's hard to understand because you get the feeling that sometimes your parent doesn't love you or whatever, but it's not that. It's their way of protecting because they were brought up with such superstition. And so every so often, it's like if I would bring home an A report card, she would sign it and just give it back to me.
Really?
You know? And then, but then you would sometimes hear that, you know, somebody would say to you, oh, your mother loved you so much, or this, that, and the other. She would always, you know, talk about you or whatever, but never about, like, raising you above anybody else. Just, the pride. But she would rarely say it to you. Because she had this thing, she said, I don't want you to get a big head.
Well, I think you got a sense of humor from somebody, because, you know, where did you get that from?
I'll tell you, my mother was funny without realizing it. My friends adored my mother. Sometimes when I was even pissed at her, you know, oh, I love your mom. I love that. Can we go hang? Can we go hang with your mom? But she was funny. Sometimes things would come out of her mouth. It would, like, she was funny without realizing it.
Well, that's good.
There were times when I was growing up where we would fight over the mirror because I would be in front of the mirror singing with albums and acting things out. And if she felt like it, she would just walk in front of me.
Your mom would do that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Walk in front of me and start singing.
She was prepping you for distractions and bad people in the audience, right? You didn't even know.
Right, exactly. The funny part is that she couldn't sing in front of people. She found it very difficult. If she was sitting in the back of a car, she could burst out.
Wow.
As long as you're not looking at her. She couldn't do it in front of people, and she never remembered lyrics. So she would do like, 3 little words, la da da dee da, 3 little words, da da da. So you had to sit there and, like, give her words.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Now, you've been on TV. We wanted to talk a little bit about some of the folks you've been on some shows with, Florence Henderson, Donna Mills, Pam Grier. You know, how's that different for you when you're, you know, now an actress?
Well, I love acting. It's different because when I'm on concert, I get to, you know, interact with my audience, which I love.
Right.
And that's me, Rozzie, interacting with my audience. But in a piece, a written piece, you are a character. So it brings out even other sides of you that may not come out as your regular person. You might be stretching or whatever, but I love working with actors that I can learn from. I've always been somebody who's a project person. I'm not looking just, you know, in an acting piece to get the attention for myself. I believe that everybody on that stage has a reason to be there.
Okay.
And they are part of a piece, and you are part of a piece. So everybody's important. Everybody has important, no matter how little the role. But once again, it's to make that piece the best it can be so that audience out there can go out with having had a fabulous experience.
Who's been an actor or two that you really were just really excited that you got to work with, that you had a good...
I loved working with Donna. It was a very short thing because I had a small role in it, but I loved working with her.
And that was the one, Ladies of the House?
Was in the same movie, and then I did her television show.
Okay.
She's a sweetheart. I love good people. some of the actors I've worked with haven't been, the biggest names in show business.
I have a feeling that doesn't bother you, that they weren't maybe the biggest in television, but it sounds like you're all about relationships.
I am about people into people. I think, things are great, but it's people that matter, and it's the love that you can have for each other. I get very upset when people aren't happy, or when you're not at ease with somebody. I love harmony. I love people relating and being happy with each other, and I'm not into feeling better than the next person. I want to be sharing the love.
I think we need to clone you, and then the world will be a better place. I want to just make sure everybody knows that we want you to dash over. Roslyn has a really beautiful website. It just breaks into song as soon as you pop on it. It's roslynkind.com, and it's ROSLYNKIND.com. There's something with you and your sister and your spelling challenges on your first names.
No, this is exactly how it's spelled on my birth certificate. It's like Roslyn, Long Island. I have to tell you that most Jewish women named Roslyn, it's spelled this way. So I did not take anything out of my name. My sister took an A, but I didn't take anything out of my name.
All right, we have clarified it for the record. Here, now. Okay, Joe.
I have been accused of many things.
Why did she take the name? Why did she take the A out? I mean, that's a beautiful name.
I don't know. I think she liked the way it read better, than going Barbara. Because some people, you would say Barbara, but there are some people that pronounce every vowel, and it's just smoother, Barbara.
Okay, well, you've taught me a lot of Jewish things. You're talking to a gal that, I'm learning. Hang
around me, honey. You'll be speaking Hebrew. You'll be doing Yiddish.
Okay.
Every cast I've ever been in, when I leave, they're saying Jewish words.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do want people to come to your website. You've got your
don't
CD.
forget Facebook, Arden.
Yeah, Facebook, yes, Facebook. Right. Roslyn Kind, Facebook. You guys know how to do it. You put her name in, and you can be a fan, and you can post your photos of your favorite dog.
It's Roslyn Kind, the entertainer page. Roslyn
Kind, the entertainer page.
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
how you get there either, but
people, they're pretty savvy. I think, little kids that have, 2-year-olds are doing it now.
Exactly. Aren't you jealous of that?
You know what? I embrace it. And the other thing is, you are kind of techie because you can get your ringtone on iPhones and iPads for hold on, right?
Yeah, you can. But that doesn't mean I did it.
But I want people to download your ringtone. I think that would be great.
Yes, please do. Please do. One and all. It's a good song. It was from a movie. And, hold on.
Yeah. And then you've got a CD called Come What May, correct?
Yes, correct. And that has Joshy's song on it.
I know, and I really am. I give you pause and applause for singing a little bit of the song at times like this. I think talk about inspiration. I mean, Josh is with you every day, and you know that.
All the time. Both Josh and my mom, they're together up above.
That's right.
Because
they are.
When he couldn't travel with me, he was his grandma's protector.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it was just adorable. And they're both around, and I know it.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we call it a day? I just got to wrap this up, but you know what? You're awesome. I know you're possum, and I'm really, really delighted that you were available to be on the show, and we're going to get...
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so everybody, you've heard it. Roslyn Kind's on the show. I'll behave. At this time, I give her a big pause up for being here. I also thank my producer, Mark Winter, who magically makes this show happen each and every week. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave!
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com.